Hello everyone. Today we have a great physical therapist with us. Is none other than Dr. Gee. He is very passionate about his work and is an inspiration to many physical therapists around the world. So, hello Dr. Gee.
Good morning. Good morning. Good evening.
Good morning over there in US and good evening over here in India. How are
Yeah,
you?
very good. Can't complain. We trying to make it here in the U.S. With this COVID-19. Everything's kind of shut down. So, but we still,
Even
we're
here,
working hard to stay healthy.
right here, even in India, there is a lockdown over here. Everything is shut down.
Yeah.
Many stadiums have been turned into hospitals.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same here too. A lot of people are staying home and business are closed. Everything's shut down really.
your
But
president, our president, they have a good friendship.
oh yeah, yeah. I saw when he went to when he went to India, you guys give him a $7 million. I mean, 7 million people welcome, huh?
Yeah, right, right. Yes.
Okay,
Uh, so I'll be asking you some normal questions about your career and everything. So
okay.
can we start?
So my career started. I graduated. I think 2003.
Yeah.
Um, I went to work for 7 facilities. I started in a nursing home, and then I went to work for a couple hospitals
Okay.
where I have like various experiences. And between then, I was taking like classes just to wanted to know what I wanted to do with my career, as far as like whether I wanted to do orthopedic or sports physical therapist. And then I discovered neuro by accident. The first place where I went to work, there was a doctor there he invented biofeedback, David Boker. And when I was there, my first job, I was working with some of his clients, because he has clients come from all over the world, and he was doing the biofeedback. Then he would send them to me, just to do basic exercise with them. After a while, I wasn't really comfortable with the basic exercise. I wanted to do a little bit more, so I kind of like start getting the people out of the chair, do some different stuff than what I learned in school. And some of these clients were getting like really good results within the few short months that we've seen them. As far as physical therapy aspect, I don't know about the biofeedback, but as far as physical therapy, they were getting very good aspect of it. And then I went to work for a hospital, and again I was stuck into the uh, neuro neuro and back surgery unit. And then from there, I went to a different hospital where I did mostly orthopedic, some neuro, but not as much neuro. And then one day I was talking to a client came to see me, and I was doing the eval. And, she said, when we did I was treating her, and she said, well, I never felt this way before. I mean, because I was doing a little bit, thinking outside the box with her. She was in a wheelchair. She was in a wheelchair for like 34 years. And she said to me that whenever she goes to physical therapy, nobody ever get her out of a wheelchair. She always does all that exercise in the wheelchair. And I was like, well, today so she was kind of not. I don't know if she was impressed. And she said to me that, um, you know, again, nobody ever take her out of a wheelchair. She always do her exercise in a wheelchair. And I was like, all right, okay. So we proceed to do her exercises. Uh, I think she has tendonitis in the shoulders from transferring all day long, or for 34 years. So we did a workout. She was happy with it, and then she mentioned to me, she said there isn't any neuro physical therapies out there. I mean, everybody said they do neuro, but it's really like the basic, whatever we learn in school, but nothing beyond that. So uh, she came back to me again, and we discussed the same situation. And then I went back and I decided to look into it. And truly, there wasn't any neuro where we like go beyond what we learned from the books. Besides just keeping the people into the chair and work the muscle that they have, but not working the muscle that they don't have. So I look into it, and sure enough, I noticed that there wasn't any advanced physical therapy besides the basic treatment. Then, I decided 2012 to open a facility where we could like do really what the research are saying out there, work on neuroplasticity, working on below level of injury, because we weren't doing that. Then I discovered different places, or one place in California called Project Walk. And I was like, well, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So I went to Project Walk and I, spent a week there, and I was like, this is what physical therapy should be doing. So, I got one of the certificate and then came back home, and I kind of pitched the idea to 7 facilities, and nobody was really listening to me, because the first thing, if your administration, if you say, okay, I want to open this, the first thing they look at is, well, how are we going to get paid for it? Because everybody looking at the bottom line. And so for me, I wasn't looking at the bottom line. I was trying to really focus on giving a service that wasn't there. So providing a service that, where can we help somebody going from a power chair to a manual chair? Can we help somebody, a person with complete or incomplete, teach them how to sit without support, teach them how to stand without support. So that's what I wanted to get into, where, I could teach somebody how to teach them how to roll, teach them how to sit, teach them how to stand, and eventually teach them how to walk. But there wasn't any people doing that besides Project Walk. So I figured with my physical therapy skills and what I know about the body and as far as recovery and rehab, I think that, I felt that I would be a best person to open something like that. So I decided to open NeuroFit 360 in 2012. It was a rough beginning because first we weren't taking insurance, because when I was talking to my colleagues about it, they're like, "Oh, how are you gonna get paid?" These people are a lot of these people are they have Medicaid, Medicare. A lot of them have really basic insurance. So, and to tell you the truth, most people can afford it. But my gut feeling was, hey, let's go for it and see what happened. So yeah, at the beginning it was kind of tough, but eventually with word of mouth, that there's this place out there in South Florida that was doing something different than the traditional physical therapy that everybody came and try, and people liking it because they were doing something different, and they feel like they were engaging, making reconnection with the part that they didn't have. So that's how we started. One of the things that besides the insurance, one of the things that really gets is that when I tell people I wanted to open this, a lot of people say, "Well, you won't get paid. Nobody can afford it." True, but I think if there's a will, if somebody really wants something,
Right.
they find a way to pay for it.
So your story is very. So I have questions.
Yes.
So sir, my first question. I am getting my voice back.
Yeah, you're getting a little breakthrough here.
Hello.
Yes.
So sir, my question to you is, how did you make up your mind getting into physical therapy after working as a health educator?
How do I make it? How do I make up my mind? Well, the way I got into physical therapy is in college. I played football, and I injured my ankle, so I spent a lot of time with physical therapy. So I think that's a lot of athletes started to become a physical therapist by getting treatment ourselves. So I spent some time with physical therapy, and I felt like that was a good field to get into. It was either that or athletic trainer. So I veered towards physical therapy because I think that we had a lot more to offer compared to personal trainer and other healthcare out there. So I decided to go to physical therapy school and to become physical therapist.
So how important is teamwork of physiotherapist when it comes to treat neuro patients? When you treat, how important do you feel is teamwork of physical therapist?
Teamwork. Very important. And our team here, we try to like have meetings at least twice a month or 3 times a month where we talk about clients and how we could improve them, what they're doing, how we could manage the clientele. Focus on the client's goal. I mean, everybody got different goals. We have people that come here and say, "Hey, I just want to get stronger." Some people, I want to be able to go from, I want to be able to drive by myself. Want more independent. And of course, we have people that come in and they say, "I want to walk again." So the team, we have meetings where we go over, what we're doing, how we're doing with the clients, and how can we improve. How can we progress the client? So team meetings is very important. And also with our team, everybody speak different languages. So that's also helped, when we working with different clients from all over the world.
So, sir, I've seen on your Instagram post that you take your neuro patients on wheelchair and walkers to marathons. So, what is the thing behind that?
So with the usually we like challenges, and I like clients that like challenges. I mean, I think a lot of clients that come to see us is really they want to define the odds and challenge the status quo, where they want to do things that the medical field said they couldn't do. So we have two things. One is when you come to my facility, there's a wall with all the running and the stuff that we do. So usually when the clients see that, they're inspired to do it. So people, once in a while they say, "Hey, I want to do a marathon." If they walk 2 feet, 1 feet, I mean, it doesn't matter. We had one girl that walked 1.6 mile one time after, a half marathon. So it doesn't really matter how much they walked, or, I have one client down, all he does is cross the finish line. He stand up and he cross the finish line. So it's really defining the odds, saying that, oh, well, this person will never do this or never do that. So, I think a lot of people come here, they're inspired by what we do, and they want to, show the world that it's possible.
Okay, so, sir, where do you get this inspiration from? You yourself, where do you get inspiration from?
Well, I mean, I was looking at the population that I work with. It's things could always be worse. So it inspired me to challenge myself and see how I could get somebody to do what they said they couldn't do. So I'm inspired by the challenge that I face every day, and so I just want to see how can I take my knowledge and apply that to help somebody get better. So I'm inspired by what I see every day, and and I'm thank God that I'm able to do it. So my inspiration comes from just the challenge of what I see and how can I use my talent to help somebody else.
So, sir, what's your daily routine? What do you?
My daily routine. Oh wow. So my daily routine. I get up at 4:32 in the morning. I go to the gym. I work out myself for an hour and a half. Then go back home, have breakfast. Before the COVID-19, I would take my kids to school, and then I come to the office, look at the schedule. Then we work out with some clients, and then basically the basic stuff. Just and then at the end of the night, we just either I have meetings or written phone calls. So yeah, basically I get up, go to the gym. Well, before that, I do my little prayer routine in the morning, and go to the gym, and then in the evening, I have dinner with the family. Very basic.
So, as you deal with neuro patients, I tell my colleagues, physiotherapy colleagues, that every time a physical therapist will have to be a motivational speaker. How right is that?
Motivated speaker, yes, that's it. That's important. How do I? Usually, I mean, I think it's really hard to. I mean, I don't know if you could teach somebody how to be a motivated speaker. I think he has to be within you. I think with me, one of the skills that I think I possess is that I'm able to get the client to to be able to see the big picture, to be able to do like the little things that they think they couldn't do. So
Is motivation.
so yeah. So usually, what I do is I'm able to talk them into it. I think that's that's one of the skills I possess. I'm able to or what I do is I'll break down the skill and then have them do it by little until they achieve that skill. And I think I'm capable of motivating them that way. Yeah. So as far as motivation, I think as a neurophysical therapist, it has to be something that you really want to do. Nothing, it can't really, like you said, BS your way out of it. You have to be able to really like what you do. It's not, it's not for everybody. I mean, as an owner, I've seen a lot of therapists comes in and they say they could do the work and they burn out within like 3 months. So I think as a physical therapist working with neuro, your brain is wired different. That's how I see it. It's a little different than just doing the basic orthopedic therapy. And also one of the things that's important is that you have to be very, 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 very patient, and you have to teach your client how to be patient. Now, the thing about being patient is that if somebody's paying you, $100 an hour to do therapy, and they're not seeing results, in America, over here, it's like everything is kind of like microwave. Everybody wants that quick result. So
Like
you have to be able to keep the person motivated. You have to be able to keep the client motivated, and at the same time, and keep them patient.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when and the other thing too, there's so many. When you become paralyzed, there's so many. You get so many bad, well, not bad news, but so many negative. Because when you wake up the first thing in the hospital after paralysis, the doctor already tells you this is where you are, and this is where you're gonna be. So a lot of people are skeptical about coming to a facility like this because they're already been told by the medical field, okay, this is where you're gonna be and this is where you're gonna be. So the thing is like, how much do they believe of that? If they believe that this is what they're gonna be doing, then that's it. If they want to challenge themselves, and then they come to see me, I have like so many jobs to do. I have to be like kind of like a psychologist, and I'm not a psychologist, but I have to be able to like motivate this person that's been told that this is impossible. So to a point, I have to be able to tell, okay, this is impossible, but if you're willing to try it, we don't know what the end result's gonna be, but definitely you will see strength. And I've noticed that people that kind of stick to it definitely get some good results. But the bottom line is, it's financially draining. I mean, I don't see most people that end up walking again or achieve their goals usually have money is not an issue.
Right.
When money is not an issue, then you got all day to do physical therapy, 3 hours a day, then you definitely will see results. But it's really hard for you to go home and I mean, you can eventually, you will, or the client will, but it's really hard to do therapy by yourself. But mentally you have to be motivated. And so as a therapist, I have like so many things I have to do. I have to keep that person motivated and be patient at the same time. And then I have to show them results. So there's a lot of pressure to me as a physical therapist to be able to do all of that and, be able to think outside the box. So it's not for everybody. You have to be able to like really want to do something like, working with the neuro clients.
You have to stay mentally fit also.
Say that again?
You will have to be mentally fit also for this to tackle
Yes.
all such situations.
Right. It's not for everybody. It's some people want to do it, but until again, I've seen many therapists that try, but they burn out. So it's not for everybody.
So, sir, you must have seen so many neurological conditions in your life. But which
Yes.
condition, according to you, the recovery is slower? You get results very slow.
Wait, say that one more time.
In which neurological condition, according to you, it takes time for recovery?
I would say takes time. I would say MS.
Okay.
MS takes time. I remember reading articles or in school they used to say, well, you don't want to exercise this person to overexert him, and because it would take, it would take so long for them to recover. I found that if you're able to do moderate exercise with them, you have to get them to a point where they increase their heart rate.
Right.
You have to challenge the body a little bit. I mean, you don't want to go out and do CrossFit, but you have to challenge the body a little bit. So I think MS is probably the hardest one. Um, Also, the second one, I would say traumatic brain injury, because there's so much going on with the brain. I mean, so traumatic brain injury is probably another one. And, sometimes you have a client that's, I would say, not completely brain dead, but I would say back brain dead. And then you have to work with the client and to keep that motivated. And the other thing that that I've seen too is how long does it take for them to start getting therapy? Usually with any neurological injuries, the sooner they could start, the better. And one of the things that we get is a lot of clients, they come in to see us 5 years, 10 years, 20 years post injury, and then they're expecting that quick result. And so you have to be able to educate the family members and educate sometimes the client that, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just going to require, you know, um, that long of a time for you to gain, at least 20-30% of what you had. So one of the scenarios that I use for client is that when the baby is born, it takes the baby from 0 to about 7 years to learn how to walk again. So
Right.
that's a lot of practice. So if somebody comes to me like 2 years, 4 years post injury, it's going to take 14 years. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because you had an injury. Now the baby didn't have an injury, but so think of it this way: how long it takes a baby to learn how to walk. That's a normal baby that they had a lot of practice of doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
So I try to explain to my client, okay, if you take the baby who didn't have an injury, take 7 years to learn how to walk again, or to learn how to walk to become perfect, and then now you have a person who has a neurological deficit or neurological impairment, and you try and teach them how to walk again, it's going to take that
Oh,
long. Now, the other thing too is the baby, every day the baby get up and walk. And if you just come to therapy for 1 hour and expect to be walking in a year, it's
right.
just going to require that. It's possible. I mean, some people are, able to do it sooner than, but, everybody, when it comes to neurological, you could have the same type of injury. Everybody's different. Everybody respond different. Um, so it takes a long time to get recovered. And of course, bottom line, it costs money.
Okay. So, do you have pediatric patients?
Yes, we have couple 7-year-olds that we see. Um, so yeah, we have a few pediatric patients.
Okay. So, sir, according to you, how is a career in sports physiotherapy in your country?
I'm sorry, say
Career
that
in
one more time.
career in sports physiotherapy in your country?
Sports physical therapy.
Yeah, sports physical therapy.
Uh, is there a lot of them? Yes. I mean, I don't. I mean, I usually, the athletes that I work with usually had some kind of neurological injuries. But there's sports physical therapists here in the U.S. That deal with, like, high class athlete and normal athletes. Um, I've worked with clients, you know, when I used to work at orthopedics clinic, I used to work with a lot of knees, some baseball players with shoulder issues, but mostly like ACLs. I deal with ACL, ankle sprains, and yeah, those are most of the things as far as athletes. You know, for the soccer player, the football players. I have a couple clients that used to be track athletes, and you know, they had hamstring sprains, and yeah. So I've worked with some sports. I mean, most orthopedic places you go, I would say 90% of them, 70% of them seen mostly athletes. And then here in Florida, we have a place called, I think it's called U18, and that's all they do is work with athletes.
Okay. So, sir, NeuroFit 360 will become, this is the 8th year, I guess. So, what all hardships you went through when you started this?
Hardship is, I remember in 2012, we opened in November, and January 13, we only had one client. So it was kind of tough. But, you know, I always remember that movie that I saw a long time ago. If you built it, they will come. I forget the name of that movie. It was about a baseball field.
Okay.
So I always, you know, thought to myself, if they will come, if you build it, they will come. So at the beginning, yes, it's kind of hard. But it's like that for every business. No matter what business you go into, it's the first year and a half, you know, especially if you don't have a rich daddy, you know, if you don't have the finances, it's been harder. But the first year was kind of, it was rocky. But, you know, if you're persistent and you love what you do and you're good at it, then, you know, it should, success should come. Just like with anything that we do in life, you know, if you have to be persistent.
So, sir, you are into this profession from last 17 years, I guess. From 2003, when you did your master's, you are into this profession last 17 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I graduated with a master, and then 2014, I went back for my doctorate, and then I'm specialized in neuro recovery.
okay. So, sir, now some normal questions. Have you visited to India anytime?
Yeah, I have a lot of. Actually, we have a client right here now. It's from India. So yeah, we have I mean, I like to once this COVID-19 is cleared up, I like to visit some places
Sir,
and
please,
maybe do some presentation.
we will welcome you with open arms. Anytime you come, you can come
Okay.
anytime.
All
So,
right.
you have Indian friends also?
Huh?
Do you have any Indian friend of yours?
Do I have Indian friends?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I have like a lot of I answer a lot of questions on my Instagram page every Friday.
Okay.
We do question and answers, so I get a lot of questions from India. Yes. The only thing is, everybody wants me to get them to the U.S., but I can't. I don't have that power. I wish I could.
Yeah,
I wish
because
I
there
could, but I
are
don't.
less opportunities in India, so people are just they want to come there, and they, because the currency has a value, different value from
Yeah.
India. Yeah, they just want to come there and practice. That's the. And sir,
So, yeah.
have you seen any Bollywood movie?
Any what?
Have you seen any Bollywood movie? Bollywood movie?
Bollywood movie? No.
No.
Is that no? Is that movie from India?
Yeah, Bollywood is
No.
India.
Oh
You don't
no. Sorry. Send me some links so I could look up to it.
you don't know any actor from Bollywood? Salman Khan or something? Don't know?
No.
Okay, I guess you are focused into your career. That's it.
Yeah, you just guys send me some links. Maybe I look them up.
Send you some great more movies that will motivate you more. So, sir, when
Oh,
do
okay.
you exercise in the morning? You do your exercises?
Yes. Yeah, in the morning, I do a lot of muscle endurance, cardio, just to stay in shape, because I think it's important that if you're working with people that need motivation, staying in shape is definitely important.
Even
I
you
think
need your strength also, because
yes,
there are
and
hefty
then
patients also.
it's also a good way for me to relieve my stress too. It's a lot of stress.
Yes, sir. And as this COVID-19 thing is going on, what would you say about that?
I mean, you know, I think in the U.S. I don't want to go politics about it, but I think we were a little too late to respond to it. I think we should. I mean, we were looking at other countries doing. We should have done that. We should have shut down the country a long time ago, and I think if we would have done that, I think we would have been better off. We probably it wouldn't be so long. And the other thing too, when I noticed is like when when they shut down the borders of Europe to come here, and I think all the American that came down here
Yeah,
from the European countries, I think they brought it with them.
right.
I mean, of course, you remember the symptoms takes a long time, so I'm sure like some of these people probably had it, and so they're able to fly over. I think if they would have shut the border down around like end of January, and then shut the country down around February, then I think it would have been better off. But so far, I mean, we wear masks everywhere we go. Wash your hands. I wash my hands every 2 minutes. My hand gets really dry.
Right.
I think that's the best we could do. And then if somebody's sick, we stay away from them or tell them to stay home. That's the best thing we could do at this point.
So last question to you is, sir, will you give any advice to our physio students to gain success in their career?
So one of the things that I usually tell students is make sure you ask a lot of questions, and you always want to know why you're doing certain things. What's the purpose of it? Because once you know the why, then you could advance the client a lot faster, a lot sooner. Um, and then just I tell people, don't try to memorize treatment session. Just trying to work with what like me. I work with whenever I see the client, I work with the client. I work with what I see in front of me. It's good to have the basic knowledge of what to do, but you want to focus on working with what the client showing you at this moment of time. So it's not really about, oh, I gotta remember to do this and that, but just to build up your skills where if the client come in with weak quad, like 10 different exercises you could do for that weak quad, but just really focus on what's in front of you, not really about and then have a purpose of what you're doing. I'm doing strengthening because I want them to do this. I'm doing strengthening of the legs because I want them to stand. And then another thing that I do, if I at the end of my session, I usually do a functional task. So it's good to build up the muscle, but then you gotta teach the muscle what to do. So if I'm strengthening, and I don't do standing or I don't do walking, then it defeats the purpose. So it's really good to, at the end of your session, do like some kind of functional task. Whether it's, if I'm doing sit-ups, if I'm doing core work, I want to make sure, okay, the reason I'm doing core work is either I want them to sit by themselves or I want them to stand. So I would do one of those things. So whatever muscles, whatever area I'm working on before the session end, I try to put the whole thing together, because remember, the body it's not one dimensional. The muscle doesn't work by themselves. The brain, the sensory doesn't work by themselves. So everything works kind of together. It's like mini system that works together. So you want to be able to, at the end of the session, try to reconnect all the components
Right.
at the end of your session. So it's really good to learn how to do that, and that comes with experience. The more really hands-on, practice. And then the other thing that I do too is like a lot of some of the exercise that I've created or developed or have my client do. What I'll do is I'll do it myself and to see, okay, I'm moving this muscle, I'm using this muscle. So, so just practice on yourself so you have an idea what you want to do with the client. And from there, really. So just always think of the functional task. I'm doing this because I want them to stand up. I'm doing this because I want them to walk,
Right.
So just always think about the big picture and put the system together.
So, sir, how big is your team of NeuroFit 360?
My team, well, right now we're only down to 2 therapists. But my team's usually when everybody's here, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we about, I think 5 therapists.
Okay. Nice. So, sir, coming end of the session, thanks a lot for sharing your experience. I hope
Thank you very much.
it will be a great help for many students around the country. Thanks for taking time from your so busy schedule and getting early. And you get early every day, but taking time.
That's not early for me. That's my normal. That's my normal time.
Routine.
Also, I want to tell people this Friday. I think we are going to do a Zoom question and answer this Friday. So we will post that on Instagram later on today or tomorrow. That Friday around I don't know what time it's gonna be, but we're gonna do a Zoom question and answer where people could come in and join us or join some of my therapists answer question.
That's a good idea.
And then what we do is
one thing I wanted to know that do you take any online courses as this is quarantine time? If you have any online courses so that students can appear for that.
So we are working on one. Actually, the past because I've been staying home, I've been doing a lot of research and but I have like 3 courses I'm working on.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on. One is one is called The Effective of Treatment After Neurological Injury. The other one is called Calling. Just focus on one aspect of calling. And then the other one is Neuro Recovery Principle. That one is a little bit longer. So that probably like maybe 45 to an hour. But I'm working on the other ones. And basically what's going to be is I'm trying to figure how to, I'm talking to my IT department, how to we put it online. And so people could go and download it so they could watch the presentation and then go back to it whenever they want to. So we're working on that. And then once we're able to figure out how to put it online, and it's going to be fairly about 150, I think, for the presentations, and then with references. And we also probably have videos of exercise that we use here to, examples so you could practice at home or with your client. So we're working on how to do it. And then once that's settled here, we're able to figure it out, then we'll post that online and everybody could go and watch it.
Okay, sir. So whenever you are ready with this, you share it with us, and then we'll share it to our Instagram page and wherever social media. And can any student from any country appear for this online course?
Yeah. I mean, they have to speak English, of course, but yes, it's going to be in English.
English is the language. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And you will be giving an e-certificate for that?
Do what?
Will you be giving a certificate for that course?
I mean, we can. I don't know if,
discuss it with your team and let us know.
Yeah. I want to take a picture.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're working on this logistic of it, and then we'll post that online. Yes. Certificate, yeah, we could add that to it too. That's fine. Yeah, definitely. Only thing is, I don't know if we'll be able to give CEUs for it. That'd be nice. I'm gonna see if we could get CEUs for it. If somebody sign up for it, would they get CEUs? That'd be good too.
Fine, sir. Then you let us know if you are ready. We will
Yes.
share it to our page. And thanks for sharing your experience, taking time for us. It was really nice
Okay.
talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much. Bye, India.
Bye, guys. Bye, sir.
Take it easy. Thank you.
Thank you.